Hello and welcome to the studio. I'm back. I'm sorry it's been so long. I've been handling life as a mum of a little 1-year-old now, and although I've been painting the whole way through, doing YouTube videos was a little bit challenging, so I'm super glad to be working my way back to a regular schedule. This week I got to do an online life drawing session with Top Secret Life Drawing, and I just wanted to jump straight in with my oil paints. So I'm working on Colour Fix Smooth primed paper, a whole bunch of different colours as listed there on the screen, and I'm oiling out the surface using my Sennelier oil medium from their Green for Oil range. So that way the paint flows really nicely over the page and it moves really nice and slippery. Right at the start we had quick poses. Unfortunately I oiled out the surface a little bit too much and the paint just slip and slid and I couldn't get it to sort of stay put where it was. But that's okay, that's what 2-minute poses are for. They're for figuring out the bugs and just quickly popping some paint down so you can get a feel for it. First 10-minute pose made me so much more comfortable. I've done a very thin layer of the medium on the paper now, and then I'm just going in with very simple colours to capture our models. Our models this week are Pieta and Chrys, and Pieta is actually 36 weeks pregnant, I believe, during this session. So we wanted to do some really nice poses with the belly and just, really capture the moments between the two of them being all cute and adorable. So I was super glad to be involved with this, being a mama myself, and at the same time it was a really fun session to be able to get into with 2 figures. So rather than just 1 figure, I had to really work my wrist to get both figures down within the time limit, and I have not been doing any fast work or any work from life. Even though this was still over a screen, working from someone who's breathing and moving and shifting is so different from working with a reference photo, so it really was challenging. I did bite off more than I could chew right here at the start, where I've decided to go with full colour for my 4th piece, and it was just too hard to try and find all the temperatures as well as the form as well as the light and the values. So I decided after this one that I really struggled with, I would simplify the method I was using and change to just oiling out the surface with a tint. So I've used Sapphire by Art Spectrum here over the whole splodge area, and then I'm just painting in with white. So the more paint on the brush and the more pressure I use, the more it mixes in with the blue on the surface. The less pressure I use, the more it stays bright and white, and that gives me a lot of control to be able to just paint the light of the figures and their structure anatomically. So this really, removing that element of full colour, gave me more time and more comfort to be able to work on all the other parts, and that little white bed sheet just really pops out of the paper, which I really enjoy. Using that same mentality, I then wanted to try on a different coloured paper. This one's a grey Colour Fix paper. It's one of their single sheets, so it has that white border on it. And this time I decided to not oil out the surface, so I've just left it dry. You can tell the big difference when I'm pulling out these gradients and shading. It goes very sort of wispy because the dry surface there's no flow, there's no slipperiness. I've also done a little bit of measuring this time, so that way I could get the figures really nice and balanced rather than just sort of jumping in and hoping I can make everything fit on the page nicely. I really enjoyed this one because the lighting from above just worked perfectly, flowing down the figures, and the way that they were posing nice and close together meant that Chrys was a bit covered, so that meant I didn't have to paint 2 whole figures. A little bit of a cheat on my end, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm just using that bit of background colour to add a bit to the piece in terms of oomph, and also to cut out the silhouette of their faces, so that way they're a bit stronger. The little halos were just for fun. Now that I'm a bit more comfortable, I decided I'd try with full colour one more time, but this time I've made some different decisions. I've limited myself to just the torso, and I'm just playing with those few mass forms and leaving everything else really just sketched out. So that way there's a hint or an implication of the arm, there's a hint or implication of the face, but really I'm just giving myself some time to work on this one small area, and even then I still didn't have enough time. So I think full colour is going to be out of my reach for a little bit while I'm getting more used to working from life again. For the final 15-minute pose, I went back to the method of using a tint, except I mixed a couple of colours together this time, so it's warmer at the bottom with more purples and then bluer at the top, and then I'm just working into it with white. I'm so sorry about all the glare in this view, but you'll be able to see the final piece in just a moment, and then you'll be able to see all those different bits of shading on Chrys. Again, the white bed sheet just provided such a good pop, and this piece in particular, I think they had the camera on their ceiling fan, so it was looking down on top of the bed, which was great. It allowed for all these little moments of negative space to pop through the figures, and that really created the drawing. So I didn't draw lines so much as I created shapes around the outside, and then that silhouette created the figures. Super happy to have all these pieces, and a couple have already sold, so that's really lovely as well. And it's just the first step back to me having a much more accessible studio time again, where I can make YouTube videos and share more of what I'm doing with you. If you want to have a look at some of my latest works, I've still been updating my Instagram, which is at Liz Gridley Artist, and I've got quite a few on there that I've been doing over the last year. I've also got a couple of shows and things coming up, so you can sign up to my mailing list using the link tree in my bio. Thank you so much for watching. I've really enjoyed putting these together, and don't forget to wash your brushes. Bye!